All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to go ahead and say that the audio that you're about to hear is actually pre-recorded. I recorded the audio for this video days ago, and I just saw this morning that DBD on their Twitter account posted the pretty much confirmation that it is going to be Vecna. It didn't say Vecna, but it did say D&D. They posted this. So I think it's pretty safe to say that it is Vecna. So that's why the video that you're about to see is going to be pretty much like I'm basically talking like I don't know if it's Vecna. And I guess technically we still don't absolutely know, even though it is looking like it is pretty much Vecna. So just wanted to go ahead and say that and go ahead and get this video to you guys now that we pretty much kind of have confirmation. But it's still a fun video to speculate on the power. So yeah, just want to let you guys know that. All right, here we go. By now, you've probably heard the rumors that the Chapter 32 killer is probably going to be the D&D version of Vecna. So in today's video, we're having a little bit of fun and speculating what the power would be if he is indeed the next killer. Could DBD be having its first dark wizard / mage joining the fog? Let's talk about it. So first off, I just want to say that I do not have a ton of knowledge about D&D. I've actually never played D&D before in my life. So all the information I'm actually getting from the D&D .wizards website. I did a little bit of research on that just to kind of get a better grasp and a sense of who Vecna of the D&D version of Vecna. Because I have plenty of knowledge on the Stranger Things version, but as we know, if these rumors do turn out to be true, we know that it's actually going to be the D&D version. So I wanted to do a little bit of research on that. And to see what I could find so that we could, have a little bit of fun speculating what type of killer Vecna would be. Just a little bit of background about Vecna that I was able to find. It says that Vecna was actually destroyed by his lieutenant, whose name was Cass. Forgive me, for all of you out there who have better knowledge on D&D, please forgive me if I'm saying anything incorrectly. But I believe his lieutenant's name was Cass, and it was a great battle that happened, and both of them were destroyed, but few things were left behind. So that left the left hand and the left eye of Vecna, as well as the sword of Cass. So first off, to talk about the weapon, I'm thinking that it's possible that the actual melee weapon that Vecna has is the sword of Cass, his lieutenant. We know there are a few swords already in the game, but it could be, that would make sense lore-wise if we're going from the D&D version, that his melee weapon would be the sword of Cass. Now, as far as power, we don't have a dark mage or a wizard in the game, so I think this would be the first one that would be more of like a dark wizard or a mage. I don't really think he's gonna have a staff or what is it? Is it called a scepter? I don't think he's gonna have a staff, like how most mages have, where they can kind of cast from. I don't think he has that. I think he's probably just going to have that regular obviously this is total speculation, but I would think that just with lore and everything that I was able to find, I couldn't see anything about an actual staff that he used. In fact, I really couldn't find a ton of information on actual power from the website. But I do know that, he's just like this super evil being who basically in some ways kind of reminds me of Voldemort, where he was a lich. So he was trying to cheat death. He was trying to be able to be reborn as many times as he could. He could be destroyed, but the website said his essence could be harnessed in a receptacle and then reborn type of deal. So I'm thinking, maybe he has, the wizard powers where he can kind of cast beams. Like maybe he has possibly another ranged killer where he can kind of throw some type of dark magic or something like that. Maybe some forms of necromancy, since it looks like from what I've been reading that he can kind of be reborn. So maybe some sort of necromancy involved with that. I'm really digging the whole vibe of having just a straight dark wizard that has like super evil powers in the game that can kind of, cast dark magic. Maybe he has something where he can influence survivors. I know that we've been talking before about having a killer that can, kind of pretend to be a survivor. So maybe this version of Vecna can kind of influence survivors kind of in the way, that Doctor can kind of have like the madness level. Maybe Vecna can have like a darkness type of meter where once that meter grows, he can kind of harness that survivor, you know what I mean, and kind of make them do things or make them not do things. But I think something like that where he can, having a killer that can actually really disrupt a survivor, of course having it be balanced where, it doesn't last that long, or there's maybe like a Michael Myers thing where he has to like build up tiers to be able to get to that. Maybe that's his like special power type of deal, because obviously that would be pretty big if he could like control survivors. But just throwing that out there. But yeah, so as far as power, I'm thinking it's some type of dark mage. I would like to see some type of necromancy, being able to possibly raise the dead. Maybe he has like a few lieutenants he can use at his disposal, where it's kind of like similar to the knight with those with the knight's guards, but maybe he can actually control the ones that he raises from the dead. Maybe something like that, what I was mentioning earlier with that special power about maybe being able to control survivors temporarily and make them either stop doing gens or something like that, where it kind of takes control of survivors. We don't have anything like that in the game that you can actually take over survivors. Of course, there would have to be a lot of balancing in that. I'm sure a lot of you would probably really hate that idea. A lot of you would probably love that idea. But of course, it has to be a lot of balancing and figuring out. And also, like we always say, this is total speculation. Take it with a grain of salt. We could be getting a total left field killer coming out on the PTB next week. It could be who knows. It may not be Vecna at all, but as of right now, it looks like from the rumors that we think we know that it's probably Vecna. So we're kind of just going off of that and having a little bit of fun with it. But yeah, I would like to see a power that is based around necromancy. If we've got some type of dark mage or dark wizard, where of course he's got like his dark magic spells, where that's probably like his ranged attack. And like I was saying, his basic M1 is probably the Sword of Cass, which would be pretty cool. And then he has like a special power where he can kind of like take control of survivors type of deal. I guess only time will tell, but I'm thinking, but that's what I'm going with. I'm going with, my speculation is we've got our first dark wizard in the game with Vecna. Vecna's M1, his main attack is the Sword of Cass. His power is based around, being a mage where he can kind of cast spells. But he has a little bit of necromancy because, he is, his thing is being afraid of death. So he can kind of, raise himself from the dead and also raise others. And then he has a special effect, a special ability where it's some type of metered where it goes up on a timer. The more he does certain types of effects, maybe something similar to the Unknown, where the more he does, he has some type, the more he does those spells, the more that meter fills up for his control over other survivors. And then that's his special ability, being able to temporarily control other survivors and make them like maybe waste items or not do gens, or maybe even self-destruct gens and make gens regress on themselves. So maybe once he takes control of survivors, he forces a survivor to do a gen and it's actually regressing instead of progressing. Maybe something like that. But of course that would have to, I'm gonna say, I know I've said it a million times already, but of course something like that would have to be balanced really well, and there has to be some good counterplay for that, because obviously the whole objective of Survivor is to do those gens, and your whole objective as killer is to stop you though. So if your power is like forcing you to not do gens, then of course there has to be some very good counterplay with that. But all in all, I am very excited at the prospect of having a dark mage or a wizard into the game. I think this would be very cool for the game. As far as the name, how like DVD always has like the something, like the shape or the pig, stuff like that, the doctor. This, I'm thinking, just from what I was reading on the website, it could be the Whispered One. There's a lot of ones it could be, actually. It could be the Whispered One, it could be the Undying King, it could be the Lich. Or they could keep it basic and just have like the mage or the wizard or the dark wizard, something like that. I am getting a lot of Voldemort vibes. I probably never said on this channel before, I'm actually I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. I'm kind of getting a little bit of Voldemort vibes, where it's like, we don't speak his name, he can be reborn, he's afraid of death. Dark magic, he's a dark wizard. I'm really getting Voldemort vibes. All my Harry Potter fans in the comments, let me know what your house is. I am Ravenclaw through and through. As we've said before, this is just pure speculation, so we could hit next week and it's freaking I don't know, it's five nights like you all have like a lot of you have been wanting. But as it stands right now, it looks like it's probably going to be Vecna due to the recent, leaks and, slash rumors and stuff that's been going around that I'm sure a lot of you have seen. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to go ahead and give my take on the upcoming PTB for next week and what I'm kind of speculating the power to be if it is indeed Vecna. Please let me know in the comments below if it's not Vecna. Who do you think it is? If it is Vecna, what do you think of my power speculation, or what are your ideas as far as power speculation? What would you like to see coming into the game if it is Vecna? I don't know if there's a survivor accompanying Vecna. I don't know if it's a paragraph killer. I'm not really sure. Just wanted to talk about Vecna in this one. But yeah, of course, as always, please keep it civil. As I always say, stay safe, and I will see you in the fog.